Welcome to the third session of language development, where we look at the two-word stage of language development. This happens at about when the child is like 24 months or 2 years, where the children basically use multi-word utterances. They use many words, not just one, not many, but two, more than two or more than two. The stage, like I said in our earlier session, is divided into two stages: stage 1 grammar and stage 2 grammar. In stage 1 grammar, the child communicates information in a few words which are key, and the words also contain important information. The main characteristic of this stage is that in most cases, the child omits verbs. The child may use plurals instead of singular, and their conversation actually imitates that one of an adult. This stage is called imitation reduction. They imitate the adult conversation but with fewer words, either by omitting the verbs or using plurals inappropriately. In this stage 1 grammar, we also have the imitation expansion. We have just talked about imitation reduction, and now we have imitation expansion, where imitation expansion involves a parent adding the missing word to a child's communication in order to make it communicative or to make it be meaningful to the person listening to it. For example, the child in two-stage level is likely to say baby high chair. Baby high chair. You can see that there is a verb or there's something that is omitted in this sentence. An adult taking care of the child may respond by saying, baby is on high chair, trying to fix in the verb the verb that is missing so that the sentence can be more meaningful. Now, this act of imitation expansion or trying to communicate in a way that the baby understands is also called motherese or baby talk. Motherese or baby talk is the way a mother talks in a simplified version when addressing the baby in order to enhance communication. There are some characteristics of motherese, the baby talk, to make sure that the baby communicates with you. One, sometimes the mothers use high pitches, shortened vocals, simplified vocabulary, shortened sentences, or exaggerated expression or vocalization. For example, instead of saying let us go home, we see mothers telling the children bye bye and the child runs behind them. So that is a way of shortening the sentences but making it understood at the baby's level. So we have talked about stage 1 grammar. We have talked about imitation reduction and imitation expansion as key components of the stage 1 grammar, and we have also explained what motherese is, and we have given characteristics of motherese, languages that mothers use to make sure that children communicate with them. We have the second stage, and that is the stage 2 grammar, which lasts for 4 to 5 years, where the child uses multi-word sentences. At 2 years, children are likely to produce short, multi-word sentences that contain the subject and also that part of the sentence that contains a verb or that part of the sentence that states something about the subject. So that part of the sentence that contains something about the subject is called predicate. So at 2 years, children produce short multi-word sentences that have a subject as well as the predicate. For example, mommy is nice. What is the subject? Mommy. What is key or the predicate? Nice. Want more milk. What is the subject? Is this child, he or she? And what is the predicate? More milk. So you can see that the children are using more than one word in a sentence, but the sentence has a subject as well as a predicate. As children grow, they learn more words every day, so that by the time they are 5 years old, they have a vocabulary of 10,000 words or more. So you need to know, when do the children have 3,000 vocabulary? When do they have 10,000 vocabulary or more? At the stage 2 grammar, another key characteristic is that the child has overgeneralization of rules in a language. The child applies what they know. For example, they know that whenever you want to add plural to a pen, you add s, pens. But because their language development is still at a lower level, they add s to everything, so that even sheep of sheep also becomes sheep. So those words that do not require an additional s to make them plural, they generalize and still apply the s. By 5 years, the child's language is exactly like that of an adult. At this point, I would want us just to mention the theories that have been put forward to try to explain language development in human beings. There are 3 theories: biological orientation theory, learning orientation theory, and the cognitive orientation theory. The biological orientation theory was propagated by Noam Chomsky. The learning orientation theory was brought about or developed by Albert Bandura. And of course, the cognitive orientation theory is associated with none other than the father of cognitive development, and that is Jean Piaget. So in our next session, we will look at each of these theories of language and see how we develop our knowledge of language development by applying the theories as have been put forward.